Okay. Now check this now here. In the last class here, what we can discuss here now. There is a two devices. Device one. Okay. Suppose you can check this now here. In the last class, what we can discuss here now. There is the router now here. We have two computers here now. Two computers here now. These two computers connected to one router now. In the last class, we can check the communication now here. In the last class, we can check the communication now when the two different computers connected to one router. If these two devices now here connected to one router, then how can we enable the communication? Now we can check this. We can check this point in the last class. We can check the configuration. We can check everything in the last class. But now, in today's class here, I can take the one more scenario. What is my scenario here? What is my scenario here now? There are two devices here, same devices. There are two computers here, computer A and computer B now here. There are two computers here. This is the computer A and this is the computer B. But these two computers connected to the two different routers here. Two different routers. That is called A computer connected to this R1 router, B computer connected to this R2 router now. And now these two routers connected with each other like this. Now R1 router and A computer connected like this, and R2 router and the B computer connected like this, guys. Connected like this now here. So assume here now, it is my okay 0 by 0 interface here. It is my 0 by 0 interface. It is my 0 by 1 interface. In the R2 router, it is the 0 by 0 interface. In the R2 router, this is the 0 by 1 interface now here. 0 by 1 interface. Now check this. In the A device, I can configure the IP address. In the A computer, I can configure the IP address. Suppose here now 192.168.1.10 here /24 now here. In the B device, I can configure the IP address 192.168.2.20 /24 now. Now tell me, in the 0 by 0 interface here, what I can which IP I can configure here now? In this R1 router, in the 0 by 0 interface now here, which IP I have to configure now? Can you please tell me anyone? Can you please tell me anyone here?
192.
Which IP I have to configure here now?
168.1.11.
Yes. I can configure now here 192.168.1.11 here now. Why? Because the same computer belongs to the 192.168.1 network here. So this 0 by 0 also belongs to the same network only now here. So that's why here what I can configure here. I can configure the IP address 192.168.1.11 here and /24 here. /24 here. What about in the R2 router on the 0 by 1 interface now? What about in this R2 router in the 0 by 1 interface? Can you please tell me anyone? Which app I have to configure in the R2 router on the 0 by 1 interface? Which app I have to configure now? Which app I have to configure now in this R2 router on the 0 by 1 interface? Can you please tell me anyone?
.21.
.21, yes. Can you please tell me the total IP address? Can you please tell me the complete IP address?
192.168.2.21.
2.21. Yes. So I can configure the IP now here. 192.168.2.21 guys here /24 now. Sir, okay, sir here. But what about the 0 by 1 in this R1 router? In the R1 router, what about the 0 by 1 interface? In the R2 router, what about the 0 by 0 interface, sir here? Sir here, in the 0 by 1 interface in this R1 router, in the 0 by 1 interface, can I configure the same network IP address, sir here? Can I configure the same network IP like this, sir, here? Can I configure like this, sir, here now? Can I configure like this here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The answer is Gus here. No. 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 Check this now here. Check this now here. Check this now here. Suppose you can check this now here. There is a router here. There is a router here now. Suppose in this router, suppose we have the 4 interfaces. Suppose in this router we have the 4 interfaces. Assume it is there. 0 by 0 interface. 0 by 0. It is the 0 by 1 interface. Assume it is the 0 by 2 interface. Assume it is the 0 by 3 interface. Assume like this. Assume like this now. In this router, we have the 4 interfaces now. 0 by 0 interface, 0 by 1 interface, 0 by 2 interface, and 0 by 3 interface. So in the 0 by 0 interface, I can configure one IP address. That is, suppose here now 10.1.1.1/21 now. /21 now. That means in the 0 by 0 interface, I can configure the IP address 10.1.1 network here. In the 0 by 0 interface, I can configure the 10.1.1 network. 10.1.1 network. Now check this now. In the same router, in the different interface, within the same router, in the different interface, can I configure the same network IP address here? Can I configure the same network IP like this here now? You can check this now here. In the 0 by 0, it belongs to the 10.1.1 network. In the same router, 0 by 1 belongs to the 10.1.1 as well. Now that means here now, these 2 interfaces belongs to the same network here. Same network portion here now. Same network here. In that scenario, this router cannot accept this IP address. It will not accept this IP address. Never. It will never accept this IP address. When you configure like this, then this router will give you one error. One error. That means now, in the 0 by 0 interface, you already configured this network. Okay. When you configure the 0 by 1 interface like this, then this router will give you one error. In the 0 by 0 interface, you already configured this network here. So let's configure the another network here. Let's configure the another network here. It is the router by default behavior. It is the routers here. It is the router by default behavior. By default behavior, guys. Behavior. Okay. That means here now, in a single router, in a different interfaces, we must configure the different network IP address only, guys. You can configure the different network IP address in the different interfaces. In the different interfaces now here. Okay. So suppose in the 0 by 0 interface now here, can I configure this? Can I configure this now? Now give me the guys, tell me the answer now here. Can I configure this in the 0 by 1 interface now?
Yes, sir.
Can I configure this?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Why? Why?
So because networks are different.
Networks are different here. Yes. In the 0 by 0 concern of here, this IP belongs to the 10.1.1 network here. In the 0 by 1 of here, this IP belongs to the 10.1.2 network. 10.1.2 network here. Now these two IPs belongs to the different networks here. So I can configure like this. Now this time router will not give you any error. This time router will not give you any error. Now in the 0 by 2 interface, I can configure the one more network here now. 10.1.3.1 here. Can I see any error now this time? Can I see any error this time?
No error.
No error. Why? Because
Different
interface
network.
now can connect with the different network here. Different network here. As well as different network here as well. Different network now here. So I didn't see any error now this time. I didn't see any error this time. Now tell me, in the 0 by 3 interface, I can configure one IP address. Suppose here now 10.1.2.100 /24 now. Can I configure this IP in the 0x3 interface?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir. Same network.
Okay. No. Why? Because now here in the 0x3 now here I can configure the 10.1.2 network now here. Okay. I already configured this network on the 0x1 interface here now. Whenever I can configure like this router will give me one error. This router will give me one error here now. So I can configure the IP address now here. 10.1.4.1 now. Can I configure like this? Any issue? Any issue this time?
No issue.
No issue. I can configure now here this kind of IPC in a router, guys. So all of you remember this point here now. In a single router on a different interfaces, we must configure the different network IP address only, guys. Remember this point always. Always remember this point. Remember this point. Now check this now here. Sir, then tell me now here. In the 0x1 now here, can I configure this IP address now? Can I configure this IP now? Okay. In this R1 router, on the 0x1 interface now, can I configure the 192.168.1 network now? Is it possible?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
It will throw error. Same network.
Okay, we have to use the different network here.
Yes.
Different network here. So, sir, here now, in the 0x1 interface now here, can I use this network here? Can I use this network here now? 192.168.2.100 now. Can I use this? Can I use this? Can I see any error now this time? If I configure like this now here, can I see any error this time?
Yes, sir.
Can I see any? Yes. What is the error? Check this now here. In the 0x0 belongs to the which network here? 192.168.1 network here now. But in the 0x1 interface now, what is the network here? A different network or same network?
Different.
Different.
Can I configure now like this?
Yes, sir.
As I can
Yes,
do.
sir.
As I can do this time. There is no issue. I can configure like this now here. I didn't see any error this time. I didn't see any error this time. And now tell me in this R1 also, in the R2 also now here, on the 0x0 interface now here, can I configure like this? Can I configure like this now? Can I configure like this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Different
Any
network.
error now? Any error?
No.
No error.
All of you guys hear any error here?
No, sir.
No, sir. Different network.
No. Okay. Now, okay, once I configure like this now. Now tell me, R1 and R2 can communicate now? Is it possible now? R1 router and the R2 router can communicate now with each other? Is it
No.
possible?
No.
No.
Is it possible now? Guys, all of you try to understand here now. In R1, I can define the network here now. 192.168.1 network, two network here now. But in this R2 router, I can configure the 192.168.1 network here now. Now tell me now here, these two different networks can communicate now with each other.
No.
They can communicate now.
No. No.
It's
No.
impossible, guys here.
Because
Okay.
directly connected.
Yes, you can check this now here. If these two routers cannot communicate now here, now tell me now here, or these two devices can communicate now. These two can communicate now.
No, sir.
These two can
No.
communicate now.
No.
No, guys. Here. These two also cannot communicate now. Sir, what we can do, sir, here now? What we can do, sir, here now this time? So, guys, here now, in this interfaces now here, don't use the 192.168.1 network here, and don't use the 192.168.2 network as well. Let's use the one new network here. Let's use the one new network here. Sir, here now, can I use now here like this? Can I use like this now here? 10, 1, 1, 1 slash 24 now here. Can I use like this? Any issue here? Any
No.
problem is there?
No issue.
No issue,
No
sir.
problem.
Different network.
Can use this. In the R2 in the 0 by 0 interface now here. Can I use the 10, 1, 1, 2? Any problem here?
No, sir.
No,
Any
sir.
problem?
No
now here?
problem. No
No
problem.
problem. Okay. I can use now here like this. I can configure here like this now here. And now tell me guys, a routing table now here. Now what is the R1 routing table now? Can you please tell me now? Now see this here R1 routing table now here. This is
One.
the R1 routing table now here. In the R1 routing table now here, okay, what networks can I see in the routing table now?
192 dot
192 dot,
168
okay,
dot 1.0
okay, via slash 24,
slash 20
directly connected via which interface?
00
0,
0
0.
by 0. Okay, one more network is there. In the
Then-
R1 router now, what is that network?
10 dot 1 dot
10
One.
dot 1 dot
1 dot 0
1 dot
0 slash
24
24, directly connected now here via
0 by 1.
0 by 1. Now, in the Arduino, can we see any network here? More than this two. Can we see any more networks here in this R1 router by default?
No.
No. Now, guys, here let's go to the R2 as well now here. And the R2 also now let's create the one routing table. Guys. It is the R2 routing table now here. R2's routing table, guys. R2's routing table now here. R2's routing table like this now here. Now tell me now here. In the R2 routing table now here, what is the networks I can see now here? What is the networks I can see in the routing table? Can you please tell me all of you? Guys, in the R2 routing table now here, which networks you can see in the routing table?
192 dot
192.168.2.0
2.0
slash 24 via
0 by 1.
0 by 1 now. Okay. One more network is there. What is that network in the R2 router?
10 dot 1 dot 1 0
10.1.1.0 slash 24 here via
0 by 0.
0 by 0 guys. Okay. Can I see the routing tables like this now by default? Can I see the routing tables like this by default? By default like this now here. Now tell me now here. Whenever this PC device A now here, whenever the device A wants to communicate to the 192.168.2.20 computer now, whenever the device A wants to communicate the 192.168.2.20 now here, so this computer will send this packet to this gateway now here. Whenever this router receives the packet now here, it will check now what is the destination IP address. Destination IP address now. Now tell me now here, this IP address now here matching with the network in the routing table now. Okay, this IP address now here matching with any network in the routing table now. In the R1 routing table now. Can you see any matching now right now? Can you see any matching here right now?
No.
Can
No,
you see any
sir.
matching now, guys here? No.
No, it's
What
different.
has happened here? Then what has happened now? This router will simply drop this packet now here. This router will simply drop this packet now here. Now tell me, the A device and B device can communicate now with each other. They can communicate now. They can communicate now.
No.
No. This time, these two devices now here cannot communicate now with each other. Cannot communicate now with each other this time. Because all of you understand here. All of you understood here now. All of you understood here.
Yes, sir.
Anyone have any doubt here now? You can ask me. Is anyone have any doubt? You can ask me now here. You can ask me now here. Is anyone have any doubt? You can ask me now. Abhishek, Ayush, Amresh, Faizan, Rahul, Sanu.
No, sir.
Anyone have any doubt here? You can ask me.
No, sir.
Guys, if you give the response here now, okay. it will be very helpful to me. Okay, I can able to understand here now. Okay, are you understanding or not? If
Yes,
you
sir,
don't
yes,
give
sir.
any response here now, okay, I didn't able to understand here. Okay, you are understand this class or not? So check this now here. Then what I can do this time now here? So what we can do, sir, here now? So what we can do, sir, here now? What we can do in this scenario now here? In this scenario, what we can do now here? Between these two routers now here, we have to perform this here now routing in this scenario. Between these two devices, I have to configure the routing in this scenario. Once I perform the routing between these two devices, then only A computer can communicate to the B computer, and B computer can communicate to the A computer as well. A computer as well now here. When we perform the routing between these two routers here, when we perform the routing, then only we can able to, then only A computer can communicate to the B computer, and the B computer also now can communicate with the A computer now. A computer now. So then, how can we configure the routing, sir, here now? Between these two devices now, between these two routers, how can we configure the routing? Okay, we can configure the routing in the two methods. Okay, all of you please note it down here now. We can configure the routing. Between the routers in two ways. One is a static routing gas here. One is static routing now here. One is gas here now a dynamic routing gas here. We have two methods. We have the two ways here now to perform the routing in between the routers. If you want to perform the routing now, we have the two methods here. One is static routing and one is dynamic routing now here. Dynamic routing. Sanup, can you please mute your mic?
Sir, sorry, sir, sorry.
Okay. We have two ways here now to configure the routing now. One is static routing now here and one is dynamic routing. Now, sir, here now. In this today class, first of all, you can discuss about the static routing now. Then you can discuss about the dynamic routing as well in the later on classes now. Okay. All of you, please mute your mics. Okay. Between the routers now here, we can configure the routing now. Then only A device can communicate to the B device and B device can communicate to the A device. So how can we configure the routing now? To configure the routing now between these two devices, we have two methods. One is static routing now and one is dynamic routing now. Dynamic routing here, yes. Okay. First of all, in this today class, we can discuss about the static routing now. In the later on classes, we can discuss the dynamic routing as well. Dynamic routing as well. First of all, here let's discuss about the static routing now. First of all, now here let's discuss about the static routing as well. Static routing here. So all of you please note it down here now about the static routing here now. All of you please note it down here now. Static routing. Okay. A static routing means here now. Network admins manually, okay, install the networks. And network admins manually install the networks. Okay, manually install the networks in routing table, guys. a routing table now here. That is called as a guys here now static routing. That is called as a static routing guys here. A network admins manually install the networks in the routing table now. That is called as a static routing. Static routing now here. Static routing now. Sir, what does that mean? What does that means here now? Check this here, all of you. Check this now here. Check this here, all of you. Okay. I can tell to this R1 router right now. Okay, through the static routing now. I can tell to this R1 router. I can tell to this R1 router. If you want to communicate now here, this 192.168.2.0 network. Okay, I can manually tell to this R1 router. If you want to communicate 192.168.2. network, a 2. network. So please send your packet to the R2 router. So please send your packet to the R2 router now. I can tell to R1 router like this. I can tell to the R1 router like this. Whenever you want to communicate this 192.168.2.0 network or 2.0 network here now, then please forward your packet to the R2 router. R2 router now. I can define like this in the R1 router now here. In this R1 router now here, I can define like this guys here manually. Manually, what I can do now here, I can tell to this R1 router, if you want to communicate now this 192.168.2.0/24 network now here. So please send your packet to the R2 router now. I can define like this in this R1 router. In this R1 now here, I can define like this. I can install this network information like this in this R1 router. I can install this network in the routing table here like this in this R1 router. In the R2 also, I can tell to this R2 router as well. I can tell to this R2 as well now here. Whenever, if you want to communicate, 192.168.1.0 network, 1.0 network here, /24 here, /24, then please forward your packet to the, R1 router now here. I can tell to this, I can tell to the R2 router like this. I can tell to the R2 router like this guys here, like this now here. In these two devices now here, I can install these networks in the routing table like this now, like this now. Once I install the networks in the routing tables like this, now tell me, these two can communicate now here. These two can communicate now here. These two can communicate now. They can communicate now. This time, yes, they can communicate now here. Yes, they can communicate now. Yes, they can communicate now here. But because if these two devices wants to communicate with each other, what I can do this time between these two devices now here, I can configure the static routing like this. I can configure the static routing like this in these two devices, in these two routers. In these two routers, I can define the static routing like this, like this. Then only these two devices can communicate now with each other. Otherwise, they cannot communicate. Otherwise, they cannot communicate. Sir, suppose sir here, one more question, sir here. One more question, sir. Suppose, sir, in this R1 only, sir, here, I can define here like this, sir. In the R1 only, sir, I can define like this now. I can define like this, sir, in the R1 only, sir. In the R1 only, I can define here like this. But in the R2 router now here, I cannot define here now. I cannot define here now any network from this 192.168.1 network, sir, here. I cannot define any network in the R2 router for this 192.168.1.0 network here. 1.0 networks are here. Then what is happening now here? Then what is happening? Now all of you try to understand here. All of you try to understand here now. So whenever the same computer wants to communicate to this 192.168.2.20 now here or 2.20 now here. So the same computer will encapsulate one packet now here. A computer encapsulate one packet now like this. A source IP is this computer IP address now that is called 192.168.1.10. Now, whenever the same computer wants to communicate to the B computer now. This is a 192.168.2.20 will become the destination IP address. So in this packet of here, destination IP address is a 192.168.2.20. 2.20 now, 2.20. Then what is happen? Now? A computer will forward this packet to this gateway now here. Gateway. That means this router now here receive this packet now. This router now receive this packet now here. Once this router receives this packet now here, it will check now here. What is the destination IP address now? What is the destination IP address now? Now tell me this 192.168.2.20 now here matching with any network in the routing table now. Matching with any network
Yes,
in the
sir.
routing table now. Yes, Vaya, which
Yes, sir.
router?
R2.
Which router?
R2.
By R2 router now. So then what is the R1 will do now here? What is the R1 will do now here? R1 router will forward this packet to the R2 guys here. R2 router now here. Whenever the R2 receive this packet now here, R2 also will check now here. What is the destination IP address? What is the destination IP address now here? And now tell me now here, in the R2 routing table now here, this IP will be matching with any network here. Any network?
Yes, sir.
With any network here? Yes. This network here now, this network here now. Through which interface? Through which interface? Through which interface? Through the
Fast Ethernet.
0 by
0 by 1.
one interface now here. So this router now here will forward the packet to the this computer now here. Now this computer now, let's use the packet now. This computer now here, let's use the packet here without any dot. Okay, this computer uses the packet here. Now this computer now generate the reply here now. This computer now here generate the reply. This computer now here generates the reply. This computer now here generate the reply. In the reply packet now, what is the source IP address? In the reply, what is the source IP address? In the reply now, what is the source IP address? Can you please tell me, all of you?
192.168.2.20.
2.20, yes. In the reply packet now here, this B will become the source now here. This B will become the source, and A will become the destination now. Destination now here. So in the reply packet now here, source IP will become the 192.168.2.20, and the destination is a 192.168.1.10. Now this computer now will forward this packet to the router guys here. This router now here. Whenever this router receive this packet here now, this router will check now here. What is the destination IP address? Now tell me guys here now. This 192.168.1.10 IP address now matching with any network in this routing table right now.
No, sir.
Matching with any network in the routing table right now.
No, sir.
Okay. If this router doesn't know the network information in this routing table now, then what this router will do?
Drop the packet.
What this router will do now here? R2 now here will drop the reply packet now here. R2 will drop the reply packet now. If the R2 will drop the reply packet now here, this A device receive the reply.
No, sir.
A device now receive the reply this time. No.
No, sir.
Okay. Whenever the A device receives the reply, okay, then only guys you can say it is called as a successful communication. Then only we can call it as a. Then only we can call it as a successful communication, guys. Understood now here?
Yes, sir.
Understood now here? Guys, all of you understood here? All of you understood here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All of you. Abhishek, Faizan, Rahul,
Yes, sir.
Santosh,
Understood, sir.
Rohit, Rahul, Virendra.
Yes, sir.
Understood, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, sir, then what we can do, sir, here now? Okay. Because this, like I said, because of this reason only, because of this reason here now, in these two devices now we have to configure the static route. We have to perform the static route in these two devices. Okay. What we can do this time here now? We can tell to this R1 router, if you want to communicate now this 192.168.2.0 network here or 2.0 network here now. So please send the packet to the R2 router. We can tell to this R1 router like this. In the same way, we can tell to this R2 as well. Whenever, if you want to communicate to this 192.168.1.0 network, so please send your packet to the R1 router now here and R2 also now here. We have to define here like this. Then only these two can communicate now here. Otherwise, they cannot communicate. Otherwise, they cannot communicate, guys. Here, remember this point. Remember this point. Remember this point. Sir, then, okay, now guys, here, all of you understand the theory part here. All of you understand the theory now here. Then we can discuss the practically, guys. Practical now here. How can we configure the static route here now? How can we configure the static route? We can check now here everything, guys. Here, everything now. We can check everything now here. Let's go to the packet tracer now here. Let's go to the packet tracer here. Now, let's take the two devices here, two routers here now. R1 router and the R2 router. It is the R1 router now here. It is the R2 guys. R2 now here. I can take one PC now here. I can take now here one PC as well, guys. These two devices now here. Let's connect now here these two devices with one cable like this.
Crossover.
Like this, guys. Okay, like this now here. Like this now here. So what I can do this time here now? I can configure the IP now here. 192.168.1.11 here now. 1.11 now here. /24 guys here. In the R2 and the 0/1, I can configure the IP address as we discussed now here. 192.168.2.21 now here /24.
Plus 24.
Assume it is a PC1 now here. Assume it is a PC1 now here. Assume it is a PC1 now here. PC2 here. PC12 guys here. I can say it is a PC1 now here. It's a PC2 guys. PC2 like this now here. Assume it is a PC1 now here. It is the PC2 guys here. PC2 now here. PC2 like this. Now in the PC1 now let's configure the IP address. 192.168.1.10 here now /24. In the PC2 I can configure the IP address 192.168.2.20 now here /24. In the R1 router in the 0/1 interface now let's configure the IP address 10.1.1.1 /24 now here. And the R2 router in the 0/0 interface let's configure the IP address okay 10.1.1.2 was here /24 now. /24 now like this here, like this now here. Now check this now here, communication now here. Now let's configure the IPs now in these two devices. Let's configure now okay IPs in these two devices now. But tell me now here, to access this router here, what we can do? To access this routers here now, what we can do, guys? What we can do?
Use another PC.
We have to use the another PC now here. We have to take the console now. We have to take the through the console you can access the device now. Okay. But check this now here. Check this now here. Check this now here. Can you tell me now here? These two are the virtual routers or okay, physical routers? Can you please tell me now here? These two are the virtual or the physical? Physical.
Physical
These are
virtual.
These are the virtual devices, guys. These are the virtual routers. This R1 and R2 is called. These are the okay. In the software, guys, in the software now here, whatever the device you can use now here, like in the packet tracer, in the GNS3, in the EVE-NG. Okay, you can see the routers, switches, firewalls, everything here. All these are the virtual images only here. Remember this point here. Virtual devices here. This is not the physical devices now here. These are the virtual devices. Virtual devices. Okay. But for the virtual devices now for the virtual devices now here, we don't require guys here now. One more computer now here. We don't connect through the console cable now here. We don't record it for the virtual images. For the virtual images now, virtual devices now here, we don't require the one more computer here now. And one more guys, we didn't connect through the console cable as well. We don't require the console cable now, and we don't require the one more computer as well here. Sir, then how can we access these devices, sir, here now? How can we access the R1 router as well as R2, sir, here now? Then how can we access it now here? How can we access it now here? Simple guys here. Click on this router now here. Click on this router. Simply click on this router. Then you can see one option here now. CLI. That is called as a command line interface. You can check like this now. This is a command line interface. Then say no here. Can you check this now here? This router will come to the user mode now. Router will come to the user mode now. User mode
Yes, sir.
now. Okay. That means here now. Okay. For the virtual devices now here, we don't require the one more extra computer. Okay. We don't require the console cable and all these things for the virtual devices only. Guys. For the virtual only here. But if you purchase the new physical device, we must require the console cable now. We must require one laptop on the computer. We must require one desktop for the laptop. Okay. We must require the PuTTY software. Then only we can access the physical device. But for the virtual device now here, we don't require anything here. We don't require anything now here. Simply click on this router. Simply click on the router now here. Then click on the CLI now here. Then you can access the device. Then you can access the device for the virtual device, the virtual scenario. Okay. Okay. Now, right now we are in the which mode now? Right now we are in the which
User
mode now?
mode.
User mode here. How can we go from the user to the privilege mode?
Enable.
Enable command. Now one more question are here now. Can I go directly from the user to the configuration mode? Global configuration mode. Can I go directly from the user to the global configuration mode, sir, here? Is it possible now?
No, no possible.
Now check this class here. Configure space terminal. Then press enter now here. Can I go to the global config mode directly? This device will go to the global configuration mode right now. No. Still this
No,
device
sir.
is the user mode only now here. User
User
mode only
mode.
now here. That means, okay, from the user mode to the global configuration mode, we cannot go directly. We cannot go directly. We have to go from the user mode to the privilege mode. Then you can go from the privilege to the global config mode as well, guys. Like this, you can go from the step by step only. We cannot go directly now. We can go from the step by step only. Step by step only. Then what I can do this time here now? I can use one command here, enable now here, enable. Then press enter now. Then we're in the which mode now?
Privilege mode.
Privilege mode. Then configure the IP address now. Let's go to the global config mode by using the configure. terminal. Now, we're in the which mode, guys? Here, we're in the which mode right now?
Global configuration mode.
Global config mode here now. Sir, in this device now, here I can change the host name, sir. I can change the device name, sir. Okay. By default, you can see now here, device name as a router here now. A router now here. But sir, here now, I want to change the device name. I want to change the device name here as a R1, sir, as R1 up here. I want to change it. Can I change it, sir, here? Can I change it? Of course, you can do it, guys, here. What's the command, sir, here now? Host name. Then, guys, here now, let's define your name. Then define, guys, here now, your name, what you configure in this device. Then define your name, guys, here. Whatever you can configure on this device now here. Whatever you can configure on this device now. Let's define that name. So you can define as a R1 now here. Press enter here. Now check this. Device name will be changed now here.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Device name will be changed now here. Now tell me now here. In the 0 by 0, what is the IP address I have to configure here? What is the IP I have to configure in the 0 by 0 now? It is a 192.1.11 now. So let's go to the router R1 router now here. Let's go to the interface. Fast Ethernet 0 by 0. Let's configure the IP address 192.168.1.11 now here.
1.11.
255.255.255.0
Zero.
subnet mask, and then no shutdown. Enter. Exit now here. Now, okay. In the 0 by 1 also I have to configure the IP address now. In the 0 by 1 also now I have to configure the IP address now. I have to configure the IP in the 0 by 1 as well now. So let's go to this R1 only now here. Okay. Interface.
Fast
Okay.
Ethernet
Fast Ethernet
0 by 1.
0 by 1 now here. Okay, suppose guys here. Okay, I will check this. Okay, I will show you now here. Suppose can I configure now this network IP address in this 0 by 1 now here. Now check this here. What is happened now? If I configure the IP address here, belongs to this 192.168.1 network only now here. I can define the 100 here now. Then subnet mask here. If you press enter now, here, can I see one error now here?
Yes.
What is
Overlap.
the error
is
now
fast.
here?
Yes.
Overlap.
Overlaps here. That means here now, on which interface overlapping here? Okay, on which interface
0 by
is
0.
overlapping now here? 0 by 0. That means now here, this router will telling me one error here now. In the 0 by 0, already you can configure now here this network. Okay, you can configure this network in the already in the 0 by 0 interface now here. So I don't accept this IP address. I don't accept it now here. So let's configure the new one. Let's configure the new one here, new IP address. IP address 10.1.1.1. Then subnet mask here now. Then press enter now here. Can I see any error now this time? Can
No,
I see
sir.
any error now this time? No. Then no shutdown guys here as well now. Exit now here. Okay. Now let's go to the R2 as well now here. Let's go to this R2 as well now here. Let's do the same thing in the R2 router as well, guys. Let's do the same thing in the R2 router as well now here. So
No.
no. Then enable. Then configure. Terminal. Then change the host name first of all here, guys. Change the host name first of all as a R2 router. As a R2 now here. Now in the R2 router 0 by 0 now here. Which IP you have to configure now? Which IP you have to configure now?
1.2.
Configure now 10.1.1.2 now here. In the interface, fast Ethernet 0 by 0 now here. Let's configure the IP address. What is the IP address? 10.1.1.2. Then subnet mask here. Then no shutdown now here. Exit now. Then in the interface, the fast Ethernet 0 by 1 of here. Let's configure the IP address 192.168.2.21 of here. Then subnet mask here now. Then no shutdown here now. Exit gas here. Exit now here. You can check this now here. And the R1 now I can configure the IP address now. I can configure the IPs in the R1 router as well as the R2 router. In the R1 router now here, in the R2 on this two devices, I can configure the IP addresses. I can configure the IP addresses now. Then in these two devices now here, let's configure the IP addresses now. In the PC1, in the PC2, let's configure the IP addresses here. Okay, what we discuss here now. What we discuss here now. As well as the IP now here, let's configure the default gateway IP as well now. These two computers. In these two computers, as well as the IP address, let's configure the default gateway as well. Default gateway as well now. Let's go to the PC1 now. Click on the desktop here. Click on the IP configuration here. Click on the IP. Let's configure the IP address here. That is called 192.168.1.10 of here. Subnet mask is here 255.255.255.0. It is /24. No issues. And the gateway is a 1.11. 1.11 will be the gateway of here. And close this now. Let's go to the PC2 as well. Click on the desktop now here. Click on the IP configuration of here. 192.168.1.2.20 will be the IP address. 2.20 will be the IP address. Subnet mask is /24 here is okay. 255.255.255.0 is the subnet mask. And the default gateway is a 2.21 gas here. Close this. Okay. Now tell me now here. These two can communicate now. These two can communicate now this time. These two can communicate now this time. Now check this now here. Let's go to the PC1 now this time. Click on the command prompt. Let's ping here now. 192.168.2.20 now here. Can I communicate now?
No, sir.
What is the loss here?
100%.
100% loss here now. Sir, what is the problem, sir, here now? What is the problem, sir? Can check this. What is the problem? Can check this now here. Let's go to this R1 now here. Let's go to this R1 now here. Now check the routing table, guys. Routing table now here. Show IP route here. Okay. In this routing table now here, can I have this 192.168.2.0 network information? 2.0 now in this R1 routing table now.
No.
No. By default now here, there is no network in this R1 router. By default, in this R1 routing table now here, I don't find here now this network information by default. This network information. Let's go to the R2 as well. Show IP route. Now tell me now here, in the R2 routing table also now here, can you please tell me now, can we have this 192.168.1.0 information now? 1.0 network information, this R1 routing, the R2 routing table now? No.
No, sir.
No. So if there is no network information, these two computers cannot communicate now with each other. Cannot communicate now with each other. Cannot communicate now. Sir, then what we can do, sir, here? What we can do, sir, here now? Okay. What we can do in this scenario, we can tell to this R1 router, if you want to communicate, this 192.168.2.0 network here now. Okay. Subnet mask is 255.255.0 guys here now. If you want to communicate now here, this network here now. So please send your packet to the R2 router now here. R2 router now here. We can define like this in the R1 router now here. But sir, here now, can I define R2 here like this only? Can I define the R2 like this only, sir? Here R2 like this only? No, guys here. Okay. If you configure like this now here, this router will give you one error. This router now here will give you one error now. Now tell me now here, okay, R1 now here, R1 router now here, connected to this R2 router now, connected to this R2 router now here, through which interface, through which IP address? Through which IP address? What is the R2 IP address now this time? What is the R2 IP now here connected to this R1 router?
10.1.12.
1.1.1.2 guys here. So that means here now, what I can do this time here now, I can tell to this R1 router, if you want to communicate now this 192.168.2.0 now here, so please send the packet to 10.1.1.10.1.12. That means now this is R2 only now. That means this IP is a R2 only now. R2 only now. R2 only now.
Yes, sir.
I can define here like this now here. I cannot define that. Okay, host name here like this directly guys here. I cannot define like this now here. I can define here now R2's IP information here now. That is called 10.1.1.2 guys. 10.1.1.2 like this now here. And now tell me now here in the R2 also now here. I can define like this now here. I can tell to this R2 router, if you want to communicate on this 192.168.1.0, what is 255.255.255.0 guys, you know, for this, if you want to communicate on this network, okay, so please send your packet to the R1 router now here. Please send your packet to the R1 now here. Guys, can you please tell me now here, what is the R1 IP address now connected to this R2 router? What is the R1 IP address connected to this R2 router? Connected to this R2 router?
10.1.1.1.
10.1.1.1. That means here now, it is the R1's IP information of here. R1's IP information of here. So guys, here now, in these two devices now here, I can configure like this here. I can configure like this now, these two devices. Once I configure like this now here, in the routing table now here, automatically now here, this networks now here will come to the routing table guys here automatically. Automatically now here, this networks now will come to them. In the R1 routing table, I can see this network information now. In the R2 routing table also now I can see this now here. This network information here. This network information now here. Then the PC1 and PC2 now here can communicate with each other. Then PC1 and PC2 now here can communicate with each other. They can communicate with each other now this time. So then, how can we configure this area? Okay, how can we configure this? Let's go to guys here now. R1 router now here. R1 now here. Let's go to the global config mode. Let's go to the global config mode. In the global config mode, okay, we have to remember one keyword here, one simple keyword here now, that is called as a IP route, guys. IP route. What is the network here now? What is the destination network, guys here? What is the destination network here now? Can you please tell me? This R1 now here wants to communicate on which network? Which network?
2.0.
Wants to communicate on which network here? Or 2.0 now here? That will be the destination network, guys. Remember this point here now. That IP will be that network will be the destination network. What is the network here now? 192.168.2.0. Then what is the subnet mask here? For this network here, what is the subnet mask?
255.255.255.0.
255.255.0 here now. What is the R2 IP address? What is the R2 IP address? What is the R2 IP address? 10.1.1.2.
2.
R2 IP is a 10.1.1.2. Okay, I can tell you this R1 router now here. I tell you this R1 router now here. Whenever you want to communicate this 192.168.2.0 network here now, so please send your packet to the R2 router now. R2 router now here. What is the R2 IP address now in this scenario? What is the R2 IP address? 10,
10
1, 2 only
dot
now.
1.1.2.
Yes. So the gas here now. Then press here now. Enter. Can I see any error now?
No,
Can I
sir.
see any error now? No. Now check the routing table now, guys. This time. Now check the routing table now here. In the routing table, can I see the network information now?
Yes, sir.
What is the S means here?
2.0.
What is the S means here now? It's a static route. S means it is a static route. Static route here now. Remember this point here. Remember this. Okay, understand here. All of you understood here. Can you please tell me, is anyone have any doubt? Is anyone have any doubt? You can ask me now. Anyone, any doubt?
No, sir, it's clear.
Yeah. Now, what we can do then here now? Sir, now, let's try to communicate, sir, here one more time. One more time, sir, here now. Let's try to communicate, sir, here. Let's go to the PC1 of here again. Command prompt here now. Let's try to ping here one more time. Wait here, wait now. Wait here, wait now. Can I communicate now? Can I communicate now?
No,
No,
PC1
sir.
No,
can
sir.
communicate to this. Okay, PC2 now here. What is the packet loss here?
100%.
Here now. So I can tell you guys one thing now here. In the one device, if you can control the static route now here, okay, then we cannot able to communicate here. Then we cannot able to communicate now. So in these two routers, we have to configure the static route. Then only we can communicate with each other. Then only we can communicate with each other. Let's go to this R2 router now this time. R2 now this time here now. In the R2 also now, let's go to the global config mode. Configure terminal. Now IP routes. What is the network here? What is the decision network here? For R2 router now here.
Dot
What is the decision network here now?
1.0.
1.0
Zero.
का series. 192.168
or 1.0.
1.0. Subnet mask here. What is subnet mask here?
255.255.25.0.
And what is the R1 IP address? What is the R1 IP address? 100 dot, sorry, 10 dot,
10.1.1.1.
1.1. Then press enter now here. Exit guys here now. Now check this now. Can I, in the routing table, can I see the network information now? In the routing table, can I see the network information now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, now here. Now tell me, this two can communicate now here. This two can communicate now this time.
Yes, sir.
Possible
Yes, sir.
now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
PC1 now here. Go to the command prompt now here. Let's type now here. Ping again. Can you see the reply?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the reply now here? Any loss is there?
No, sir. 0%.
No loss.
0% loss here. That means here right now, these two devices now here can communicate with each other now. They can communicate
Yes,
now
sir.
here with each other now this time. With each other now this time. All of you understood here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All of you understood now here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, check this guys here now. One more scenario here, please check this now here. One more scenario, please check this now here. One more scenario here, please check this now here. We have three devices here now. R1 router, R2 guys here, R3 guys here, and R4 guys here. We have assume you have the 4 devices now here. But these 4 devices connected with one cable like this, like this, like this. In the R1 there is a network here now. Assume you have 10.1.1.0 here now. /24 now here. In the R2 now, okay. In the R2 also now there is a network here now. 21.10/24 now here. In the R3 also now here, there is a network here now. 31.10. Assume like this, assume like this. In the R4 also now there is a network here now. 41.10/24 here now. Assume between this R1 and R2 now here, between this R1 and R2 now here, I can configure the IP address 192.168.1.0 guys here. /24 now here. Between the R2 and R3 I can configure the one more network here now. 192.168.2.0/24 now here. Between the R3 and R4 I can configure the IP address 192.168.3.0/24 guys here. I can configure like this now. Okay. And now tell me now here this 4 devices routing table guys here. Can you please tell me now? Can you please tell me now here? These 4 devices okay by default routing table now. Can you please tell me? All of you. This is the R1 routing table now here. R1 routing table now here. This is the R2 routing table now here. This is the R3 guys here. Routing table now here. This is the R4 routing table guys here. R4 routing table now here. Now tell me guys here now. By default, in the R1 routing table now here, how many networks I can see now here? By default, in the R1 routing table now, how many networks can I see in the routing table now?
2.
2 networks here. Can you please tell me the networks information now? Can you please tell me the networks here? One is
10.1.
192.168.1.0 directly connected now here. I can see
R2.
one more network here as well now. That is called as a 10.1.1.1.0/24 now. It is a directly connected now like this. I can check like this now. And the R1 router now. In the R2 guys here, can you please tell me? In the R2, can you please tell me?
192.168.1.0
Okay. One network here, okay, that's good.
and 192.168.2.0
Yes, perfect.
and third 20.1.1.0.
20.1.1.0 now here is perfect now. Yes, guys. What about the R3 router now? What about the R3 now here?
192.168.3.0.
Perfect.
Second 192.168.2.0
Perfect.
and third 30.1.1.0.
Perfect. What about the R4 here now? What about the R4 now?
192.168.3.0
Okay.
and 40.1.1.0.
40.1.1.0 now here. That's perfect. That's perfect now. Now tell me here, all of you guys, all of you tell me now here. Now R1 router can able to communicate on this 21 network here.
No.
R1 can communicate on this 21 network here. Is it
No.
possible
No.
now?
No,
Why?
No.
it's not routing table.
In this routing table now, we don't have the this network
Continuity.
information now. So then this
No.
R1 can communicate on this 21.10 now. Is it possible? No. So
No.
what we can do here this time? We can configure a static route here in this R1 router now here. For this 20.1.1.0 now here, I can tell you this R1 router. If you want to communicate on this network, please send your packet to the R2 router. R2 router now here. I can define like this. Okay. Okay. Now tell me now here, if this R1 can communicate on this 3110 now, is it possible? Is it possible now?
No, sir.
R1 can communicate on this 3110 now. Is it possible now?
No.
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 Why? Because in the routing table now, we don't have the 30.1.1.0/24 network information. Am I right?
Yes.
That's all of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
So what we can do this time? What we can do this time? In the R1 also now here you can configure the one more static route for which network? For which network?
30.1.1.
Dot 1.1.0 also now we can configure the one more static route now here, one more static route here now. Now tell me this 30.1.1.0 was here now via which router? Via which router? Via which router?
R3.
Via which router? Via
R2.
via
R3.
R2 now here. So you can define here now. Via R2 like this now here. Okay, the R1 next route is R2 route, R2 only na. R2 only na. So I can define the next stop as a, okay. I can define the, for this network also now here, I can define the IP as now here, R2 IP address only. R2 IP only now here. Then only R1 can forward the packet to the R2 router now here. Then R2 will forward here further. Then R2 will take the decision further here. Okay, understood here? Understood now here? Okay, now if this R1 wants to communicate on this 40.1.1.0 now here, if this R1 can communicate on this 4110 now here, is it possible? Is it possible now?
No. No, sir.
No. What we can do then? We can configure the one more
Network.
static route here for one more static route for this 40.110/24 number via R2 as well. R2 as well. Now tell me in the R2 router now here, R2 can communicate on this 10.110 now. 10.110. Is it possible now? R2 can communicate to this 10.110 now this time. Check
No,
the
sir.
routing table, guys. Check the routing table now here. Check the routing table
No.
now here. R2 can communicate on this 10.110. Is it possible now? No. No. What we can do then? We configure the one static route here for this 10.110/24 now here via which router? Via which
R1.
router? Via R1 now here. Now tell me, R2 can communicate on this 3110 now. Is it possible?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
What we can do this time? We can configure the one more static route here now.
30.1.1 by R3.
We can configure the one more static route here for this 3110/24 now here. Via which
Via
router?
R3.
R3.
Via R3 guys here. Yes. If this R2 wants to communicate on this 4110 now here, then what we can do?
No.
We can configure the one more
One more
static route here.
network.
Static route here. You can say it is called as a static route. Guys. Static route. Static route. Like this here via
R3.
R3.
R3 only now here. Now tell me, R3 can communicate to this 10.110.
No.
No. What we can do? We can configure the
IP.
One more
static route
static
here.
route.
In the R3 router now here via which router? Via
R2.
which?
R2.
R2.
By R2 router now here. Now R3 wants to communicate on this 2110 now here. Then what we can do?
20.1.1.
We can configure the one more static route here now for this 2110
R2.
via
R2.
R2 as well. Now, if the R3 wants to communicate on this 4110 now here, then what we can do guys here now? We can
Configure one
configure
more.
the one more static route here now for this 4110/24 now here via
R4.
R4.
R4. Now, let's go to this R4 guys here finally now here. R4 wants to communicate now here 10.1.1.0, 20.1.1.0, and 30.1.1.0 as well now here. So what we can do here now, we can configure this
One more
R4. The
routing.
R4 can configure the total
One more
three
static
static routes here. Total three static
static.
routes here via
R3.
Three.
R3 like this here now. For this 10.1.1.0 now here, one static route via
R3.
R3. For 21.1.0 here via
R3.
R3.
R3. For 30, for this 31.1.0 guys here
R3.
R3.
via R3 as well. Now tell me now here, we have the 4 devices now here. How many static routes can we configure now here? A total, how many static routes can we
12.
configure now here? Total,
12.
Total.
12 static routes. We can configure the total here now, 12 static routes. Now tell me, suppose there are the 20 routes are there, 20 routers are there here now, R1, R2, like this we can see the 20 devices now here. 20 devices now here. Now tell me guys here now, okay, is it easy to configure this much of static routes here now? Is it easy to configure this much of static routes here now?
No,
Static
sir.
routes here,
No, sir.
okay. It will put gas here now. It will put gas, okay, when you configure the a static route here, okay, between this, okay. Suppose now here in my company there are the 20 routers are there. Assume 20 routers are there here now. 20 routers are there here now. So in that scenario, guys, here, if you want to configure the static routes here, static routes now here, it will put gas here now. Lot of pressure on the, where guys here, network admin here. Why? Because now here network admin only can configure the static route now. Network admin only
Yes,
can
sir.
configure the static route now here. So this okay, this kind of, okay, in this scenario now here, we can put the lot of pressure on the, okay, network admin. Network admin guys. All of you understand now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All of you understand now here? There is a problem guys in the static route. There is a problem in the static route guys here. All of you understand this point. Okay, all of you understood here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So guys here I can give you one task here, one simple task. I can give you one simple task now here, one simple task now here. Okay. There are 3 devices only here. R1 router, R1 over here, R2 over here, R3 guys here. Now in the R1 there is a computer here now. Computer here now. It is the R1, R2, R3, PC1, PC2, PC3 guys. These 3 devices now here connected now with one cable like this. With one cable like this, guys, with one cable like this now. With one cable like this, guys, like this now. Here. Now this PC1 can communicate to the PC2 as well. And PC1 can communicate to the PC3 as well. And PC2 also can communicate the PC3 as well, guys, here now. It is my company requirement. It is my requirement here now. So guys, here now you can do this configuration guys to the static route. By using the static route now here, okay. All of you do this lab here. Do this lab. Do this lab. If anyone have any difficulties in the, okay. If anyone will find any difficulties here, I will explain this topology in the next class as well. Here now. But before that, guys, here all of you, please try it. Please try it. Okay.
Yes,
Sir, what about the IP addresses are here? What about the IPs are here now? Okay, you can use it, guys, here whatever you want. You can use the IPs now here, whatever you want. Whatever you want, you can use the IP addresses. There is no issue. I don't, guys, here, okay, I don't have any problem with the IP addresses now here. You can use any one here as that's up to your requirement. That is up to your requirement. You can use the any IP address, anyone here. But one thing is here now. Let's use the router guys here. Okay, in the packet as now, let's use the router as a 2911 guys. Let's use the router now here. This one guys 2911. Let's do this device now here. 2 and double 1 guys. 2 and double 1 only guys. 2 and double 1. Okay. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All of you understood here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay. So in the next class now here, okay, I will ask to everyone. I will ask to everyone guys here. I will ask to everyone guys. First of all now here, this topology now here. First of all, this topology now here. Once you okay work on this topology now here, then you can proceed further guys. You can discuss the dynamic coding protocol from the tomorrow class. Once we discuss this topology now here, then only you can discuss the dynamic routing protocol. Dynamic routing protocol guys. Dynamic routing protocol. Okay. Understood?
Okay, sir. Understood, sir.
Any doubt now here, anyone?
All good, sir. Fine.
No doubt, sir.
Okay. So guys here, it is our today class. Let's meet on the
Okay.
tomorrow class. Have a nice day guys. So have a nice day to all of you. Bye.
Okay, sir.
Take care.
Thank
Good night.
you,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Abhishek. Bye.
Good night.
Bye. All of you. Bye. Good night to everyone.
Good night, sir. Good night.